the UK government didn't thought that it's a good idea to appease Hitler. So I think we're in the same situation. This is the Nazi regime.
I'd like to start with that footage because, I mean, it was incredibly difficult to watch. You've seen it for yourself. We can't describe it here on the radio. I actually wouldn't want to. Can you just explain why you felt it was important that journalists were given the opportunity to see it?
Yes, of course. So since the 7th of October, the public opinion is asking many questions about what exactly happened, why Israel is operating in this horrible war that was really imposed on us. We didn't choose to go on a war. It was Hamas atrocities that created the need to protect the people of Israel that put us in this situation. And I think people tend to forget the 7th of October. And this is our duty as embassy to tell people where it started and what is the face of the enemy. We're facing the brutality and barbarism that this enemy used against children, against women, against innocent people in their own homes. I think some of the journalists, I asked them what was the most shocking thing in what you saw. And one of the things that repeated was the fact they saw the cheerful spirit of the terrorists while they were, killing the parents in front of their children, doing those horrible things. And the fact that they acted as if it's a casual day in their life, getting into a refrigerator of their victims, taking something to drink, all this behavior, calling their parents back home and praising themselves for killing Jews. Those footages came from the terrorists themselves. They wanted to put them on social media and glorify their horrible actions. And I think many people, in a way, started doubting that it happened. And we need to show the truth. And this is our duty to the over 1,400 Israeli innocent people that were slaughtered at the 7th of October, and also our commitment to release the hostages. We still have 241 innocent children, women and men kept hostage by Hamas. So we need to make sure that the world won't forget the 7th of October and won't go into this, I will call it the old paradigm of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, because this is not the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. This is not a conflict about land. This is not a conflict about different political solutions, because Hamas is not interested in any of this. Hamas came with a genocide intention to kill innocent Jews, and if he could, he would have killed everyone. And this is what's important to remember, the ideology that Hamas is carrying out in this day, the 7th of October, is showing and reflecting that Hamas cannot exist. And this is why we must fight. And no one should put it in any of the old paradigms. This is something else. This is humanity versus barbarism. This is civilization versus dark ages. And we need to fight.
I'm really interested that you are drawing a line between what this conflict is about for you and suggesting that actually what happened on that day was a terror attack not linked in the same way to previous conflicts about land and about that tension in the region. And the fact that you also highlight what that footage showed, which was a lot of young men laughing and joking and doing things that I didn't believe anyone could ever do to another person, and seeming to enjoy it and revel in it and capture it on video and film. Are you worried that what we're starting to get into here is a war or a conflict or a situation where that kind of imagery, that kind of video footage is being used to give people kind of the wrong impression? It's being used as propaganda, essentially.
Well, of course, we're not showing it.
I mean, from
Hamas' point of view. Well, unfortunately, the awareness of the West to how Hamas was educating the young generation in Gaza, the fact that they glorified terror for so many years, the fact they send their children since primary school to have these terror camps basically in Gaza. This is what was creating this type of hatred, the fact they were dehumanizing Jewish people from the other side. And just think about the Israeli communities, that most of them, the families that were erased from this earth because of Hamas brutality, they really believed in peace. They wanted to live with these people. They wanted to work together. They had so many dreams about coexistence, and Hamas just killed this dream extreme by saying, for me, peace lovers, peace haters, you're all the same. You're Jews and you deserve to die. And this is what Hamas was this was the war crimes Hamas was committing that at the 7th of October, also killing the hope that this type of barbarism is something you can negotiate or live with. So Israelis realize we cannot live with Hamas next to us. And again, I'm feeling that for many people in the West, they don't understand the danger. The way we see it, this is a danger that is a serious thing also for London, for Paris, for New York. You can see the people that support at the moment Hamas in the streets of some of the big cities, which is something that is unacceptable in my opinion. Like you can't imagine people marching and saying, for Al-Qaeda after September 11 in America.
Do you think the people who are marching understand what they're marching? I mean, there are it's difficult, isn't it? Because there are some people who are marching because they want to see an end to what's happening in Gaza, and they feel very deeply that watching, children die in any context, whether it's in Gaza or whether it's in Israel, is absolutely horrendous. And then there are other people who are, using language and phrases that lots of people would say is inappropriate. Do you think people understand when they march, what they're marching for?
I don't know. I know that some of the people are, when they're being interviewed, they're glorifying Hamas actions. So I can't speak about each individual, but those who are glorifying those brutalities and terror attacks on innocent babies, they need to be definitely under hate crimes and hate speech, because this is not acceptable in any democracy.
But maybe not everyone.
No, I'm not saying everyone. I'm speaking about specific people that glorify Hamas actions, people that think that this is justified. How can you justify the killing of innocent babies?
Do you think those marches should be allowed to continue?
So I think, again, your leaders in this country, Prime Minister Sunak and Home Secretary Suella Braverman, are very clear with their messaging. I know that everyone is concerned about next week, that you won't be in a point where your holiest day in the year, that the fact that you cherish the people that fight for liberty in this country, that it will be desecrated. I mean, I think that the idea that at the same day that you are, in a way, respecting the people who are willing to pay with their life for the liberties in this country, that it will be, clashed by ideology that is against every single value that this country believes in. Hamas ideology is against every freedom, any liberty, and you can see how they're using their own children in Gaza in order to dehumanize again the Israeli forces that are not targeting any civilians. We work with military targets. So I just want to give you a small example to explain that. I just saw unbelievable images coming from Gaza that were taken by our military IDF spokesperson, and basically they were showing that amusement park in Gaza were full with launching rocket launching places. So the whole place looked like a war area, and it was a playground, amusement park. Think about it. They were believing that children will play there and Israel will attack, so they can show Israel is killing innocent children.
But many people who are looking at this would sympathise with a lot of what you said, but they would still say that now 10 times more people, over 10,000 more people, have been killed in Gaza by the Israeli Defence Force. That includes, to use your word, children, women and innocent civilians. I agree some terrorists were killed as well. And they say that is simply disproportionate and unacceptable. What do you say to that?
I have a very good answer for you, Adam, because Israel, the first 2 weeks in this war, what we did was to taking and looking after the people of Gaza to have a safer place in the south area of Gaza. As you know, the majority of the Israeli military action at the moment is in the north area of Gaza. Gaza is a strip, and we created, together with the international community, safer places to these people to go there. And it was Hamas that prevented the ability of some of these people to go. I can share with you.
The problem is they're still getting killed, whether they've been prevented by Hamas or not. And also...
So my answer to you, Adam, is you need to blame Hamas for using his people as human shields, because Israel created, together with the international community, a safer place for the innocent people of Gaza to go.
What about the strikes into the south, which have taken place?
I think, again, we stand behind those words. Israel works according to the international law, and Israel is targeting only military facilities. The problem is Hamas is creating civil facilities and turning them into military facilities. According to the international law, you have 100% the right to target a civil facility if it turned out to be a place that is firing rockets.
And what do you say to Joe Biden, who warned that Israel may be making the same mistake that the West, that the UK and the US made after 9/11 in terms of their attack on Iraq?
I think that President Biden is being a huge supporter of Israel, and he knows our duty to make sure that Hamas capabilities won't exist after this war, and Americans are supporting on any level, together with the UK
leadership. He seems to be saying you won't be able to do it. That's the point.
So let me give you the answer. Let me
killed.
give you the answer. The one thing Israel cannot afford is having another October 7th. And if you hear the spokesperson of Hamas being interviewed on different media platforms, he keeps on saying, we will do that again. So this is the type of enemy we're facing. We're not facing an enemy that is regretting his deeds. He's actually saying, we will do that again because this is our ideology. This is jihad. This is against the very existence of Jewish people in their homeland. And I think we need to make sure that no matter what, the day after this war, Hamas won't be in the Gaza Strip, and Israel and Palestinians will have better future after that.
So there could never be any negotiations, however they were brokered, between Israel and Hamas?
Well, the UK government didn't thought that it's a good idea to appease Hitler. So I think we're in the same situation. This is the Nazi regime. It was actually Chancellor Scholz from Germany that was calling them the new Nazis. So it's not even Israel's expression. This is the leader of modern Germany that is calling them this way, because this is the type of atrocities they committed.
Yeah. So if that's the position and Israel's ultimate aim is to remove Hamas from Gaza completely, would Israel have some role in what happens in Gaza in the future once Hamas is removed, or would that be for someone else to come in and provide that stability? Because there's a lot of controversy about whether Israel should have a role in that.
So I actually 100% agree with you. This is one of the most important questions to ask. And I think that we need to know what is the end game, and the end game must be that no other terror regime will take place in Gaza. So it doesn't matter how it's named. It can be Islamic Jihad. It can be a different name. It can be another version of ISIS. We cannot afford that. So we need to make sure no matter what, Gaza will be free from ammunition, that we know where it's targeting. It's targeting the Israeli villages and people. And we need to make sure that the future of the people of Gaza will be education for peace, because the education for terror and hatred, we saw the results of it. And we saw people coming after the troops of Hamas came that just walked into the houses of innocent Israelis, taking the things out of it, committing more crimes. I don't want to live next to an enemy that doesn't see me as a human being. Israelis seeing their neighbors as human beings. They need to see us as human beings. And then we won't have this type of things happening in the future, I hope.